Well, semioticians often talk about cultural memory, but in my own experience, memory can sometimes fade very quickly when events come about that turn people and I'm in another direction. And I think it's always important to have the historical perspective behind whatever problems need to be solved. And so I think this is a book that does that, because it not only gives you really a very wonderful account from the early medieval period all the way to the present day of how Ukrainian emerged and how it grew, how it was repressed, how it came back, how it struggled during the Soviet period, and now in independence, how it's trying to find its way in independent Ukraine. It's very important to have that background, but to also see that you are not alone in having experienced this, and that there is the experience from other peoples and cultures to look at to see where some other possible answers might be to make it work. I think the book is also, by the time you finished it, it really raises the issue that, yes, ethnicity is important, although sometimes it's very confused in Ukraine, where somebody can be 1/4 of this and 1/8 of that. But that ultimately what seems to be most important is a civic love of Ukraine, one that transcends some of these ethnic divisions. And we already see this with the Russian invasion. As Dr. Hajda pointed out, that Russophones are fighting for Ukraine against Russian-sponsored hybrid war, or whatever you want to call it. And that idea, I think, is important. And I'd like to combine that notion of the civic Ukrainian with the notion of a will, that if the survival of the Ukrainian language is important, that the population that believes in it has to have the will to use it wherever is possible. Not only in specifically instructed situations, for instance, in a schoolroom where you're supposed to, but out in society, reading books, watching TV. All of that is important to make a language needed and wanted.